Awesome. Well, morning all. Hopefully everyone's having a really good start to your Wednesday morning. Super excited about this chat with a really high performer in the industry and unlocking some of the secrets to what makes him tick. So welcome, Reece. Good to have you in the chat this morning. My first question for you is on your Microsoft Teams name. It's Reece Danger Thompson. Mate, what's the go with Danger? Is it a nickname, or what's happening there?
Just an Austin Powers fan, mate. For those that are old enough to remember Austin Powers, I'm just Austin.
I am old enough to remember Austin Powers, but I think you and I might be in the minority, mate. I don't know if there's going to be too many others in there, but I like it. I'll just stick to Reece for now, but if we get familiar, I might call you Danger. So, mate, I guess what we first and foremost love to hear about a little bit of how your kind of journey in real estate has sort of unfolded. So, you did your HSC while you're studying your Cert 4 in 2004. So coming up the back end of school, mate, what was the first manoeuvre? Was it straight into real estate, or did something else take your attention for a little wee while?
So my career, where I'm from, is in the Hunter Valley, right? And when you finish school, people usually had two routes. They either went to work in the mines or they went to university. And I wasn't much of an academic. And for those that don't know, I'm about 6'10", 7 foot tall. So I didn't think I'd have much luck in the mines. And I just decided that I wanted a job that was half indoors, half outdoors. And I basically went around and decided I'd get into real estate just because it was the job that I thought would be pretty cruisy. And from there, mate, I basically went and applied at a few places. And I applied at one, and they told me they wouldn't hire me because I was too tall. And they said, you're too tall. They thought I'd be intimidating to some of the older clients. So they turned me down, and then I kept ringing this one bloke over and over and over again, trying to show him that I was keen. And eventually they gave me a crack, and yeah, I started a traineeship over there, and off I went.
I've never heard of someone being discriminated against for being too tall. To be honest, it's not a problem I've ever faced. So it's sort of unique to me. But you obviously couldn't be a fighter pilot either. So fighter pilot was out, mine worker was out. So real estate was where it landed. What was your first role, mate, when you went into real estate? What did you predominantly do?
Mate, traineeship, right? So I got really, really lucky. So what I mean by really, really lucky was I went into the industry very, very green. And when I came into the industry, my job was purely a prospector and to find leads for the actual agents that worked in that business. Now, being really green to the industry, I didn't know what was expected from a prospector. I didn't know the amount of workload you should be doing. And I wasn't really, I guess, tainted by poor agents in the industry because I wasn't sure what was expected, right? So what I mean by that was I came in and there was a system back in the day called the Genman system. I'm not sure if anyone knows the Genman system. And there was a couple of high-performing agents there, and we went to a training course one day, and one of the guys, I'll never forget, his job was 103 phone calls or 103 connections per day, right? And my job became 103 connections per day, and that's what I did for about 2 years straight. And about probably 18 months straight, I did that. And I was passing on, between 10 and 12 listings per month to the agents. And I didn't realise how good I was. I seen a pay slip I had from back then. I was getting $13 an hour. I didn't earn commission or anything like that. And obviously the bosses loved me because I was passing on all these leads. Obviously, what I know now, I know that I was obviously feeding them a lot of money. But what happened was I kept passing these leads on, and I got to a stage where I was still only very young, but I said to the boss, look, I want to be an agent. And he set me this task of if I can find 10 listings a month for 3 months straight, he would promote me to be an agent. I failed in that. I think I finished on around 26 or 27 listings for 3 months, right? Now, unbeknownst to me, that was phenomenal. But at that point, the average agent might have listed 4 a month. But I didn't know that. So he didn't promote me. And then the sales manager left and started his own shop. And he basically said, come along, you don't realise how good you are. And he put me to be an agent straight away. And then off I went. So
it's funny, just to pause on that for a second, I guess the Genman system, which still exists, the one thing it does is create incredible prospecting foundations in people's career. Why do you think so many people now don't or won't prospect?
To be honest with you, I don't understand why you don't. So my business is is built on literally 27 different types of prospecting every week. That's what my business has done. So we have, I don't do all those 27 types of prospecting. That's built out through my team. But basically the idea is they have to get those completed every week to make sure that we have a pipeline of listings coming in every week to make sure we can go to the next level.
Yep. Because it's obviously the integral part. So you said back then 103 connects a day was your goal. Obviously, that's probably changed now that you have more things coming inbound, more responsibilities, etc. Do you have a goal now that you sort of sit at that you want to try and hit every day?
Yeah, so mate, to be blatantly honest with you, I've gone away from that completely now. So that's where I started in the industry, and we're talking 20 years ago now, isn't it?
20 years ago, yeah.
Jesus. So we're talking then. So that's when I didn't have the pipeline that I have today. So now I've gone away from that kind of becoming that agent where I had to work. And I tell so many agencies all the time, you'll see people start in the industry and they leave within 2 years because they don't realise the dog work that is involved. I was really lucky where I started out at such a young age where, I was green, but I didn't have a lot of expenses and stuff as well at the same time. I was still living at home with my parents, that kind of stuff, right, with my mum. Right now, I've moved away from being the dog agent where I have to make those calls to being an attraction agent now where I've got a brand myself. People know who I am. I've been doing it for long enough as a referral business. I'm involved in football clubs. And I've got staff that actually still doing the dog work. I shall call it the dog work. They're still doing the calls. But I'm getting the phone calls in because of the brand that I've built over the last 20 years.
So how many years in do you reckon that shift kind of happened where you went from that really having to grind and push for everything to that, as you said, more of an attraction agent or referral business coming more your way?
Oh, look, it gradually just builds. So it wasn't a, right 3 years point, I'm not making 100 calls anymore. It just slowly kind of drifted off, So it might have been after 2 years, I was constantly, I remember when I first started, it was more I had a patch of area. I said, right, I'm going to look after Beresfield as an area, right? And there might have been 3,000 people lived in Beresfield. And my idea was to ring every single person or meet every single person in Beresfield that owned a house and put them into my database. And that was it. I had a system and basically once every 2-3 months, I'd either send them a letter or I'd give them a call and I just touch base, right? And then from there, it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And eventually I didn't have to touch base anymore. People just knew that we're going to sell a house, we use that guy. And it gets to a stage now where, like my core area is Ashtonfield where I live, and we sell about 70% of that marketplace. So I live in Ashtonfield. People are going to sell in Ashtonfield. If I've sold 20 homes in Ashtonfield and my closest competitor might have sold 3 or 4, chances are they're going to use me to sell that place because I have that, I suppose, records in the area. People want to trust the people that have that, I suppose, proof in the pudding.
Yeah. So let's talk about the mechanics of kind of how you do your job now. Interested in, and we had a few questions that people had submitted prior to they sort of wanted to ask. One of the questions was how you successfully secure listings. By the sounds of it, the vast majority of your things now are kind of either warm or inbound conversations that come in. But when you go into a living room, you obviously still face battles against other agents that do you have a particular competitor that you come up against a lot, or is there kind of a raft of them in your area that you might be up against every now and then?
No, I've got one real particular competitor. So there's probably 2 dominant agents in our area. Myself, I sell, in the good times, we sell 270 homes in a year. Like last year, we've almost been open 2 years here. I think we've just gone up to 200. We'll hit 240 homes this year. My biggest competitor is a guy named Nick Clark, who is one of the biggest agents in Australia. He did 300 homes so he done more than me. And we used to work together at PRD, and we come up against each other all the time, kind of thing. So,
yeah. So, are you similar in terms of what they offer and how they run their campaigns and their fees? Are you quite similar, or is there a big difference between the two?
Yeah, no, it's not a very big difference between the two. I suppose when I first opened up Thompson and Clark with Ryan, it was I sat down with Ryan and we came from PRD, and PRD was a big brand. And funnily enough, both Nick and I worked for PRD at the same time, right? So when we were back together at PRD were completely dominant in our area, So we had combined, 600 sales just in the local area ourselves, plus every other agent at PRD was doing, and people couldn't touch us, because if you were going to sell, you'd sell through PRD, because we ran the whole market, right?
Yeah.
Now, Nick's gone and done his own thing, I've gone and done my own thing, but when I left PRD, I thought, well, why would people use me? What are my 7 points of differences? So I brought in 7 points of differences into my brand, that when I sit in front of an owner, I don't just sit there and say, right, this is what we do, because every agent does the same thing. They stick it on realestate.com, they'll stick it on domain.com, hopefully the phone rings. I'll tell them what I will do different and what separates myself from those other agents. That's right.
Yep. Interested, and I know I've got the captive audience already, but what's the biggest difference between working with a franchise group for PRD, for example, in a bigger team, and working independently with your own business you've found?
Control. I'm a control freak, right? So I'll be very upfront. Well, actually, before I sat with the guys at Urban X, I basically agreed to join Ray White's brand. That was my plan. I sat with them. They put a real big picture on that. The big agency. They had all their new technology, all this kind of stuff, and I thought, I could do really well then. What scared me was being a big agent in my area, knowing that I could try and grow this business really fast. There was nothing stopping a Ray White opening up on 2 streets down the road, and then also taking that benefit of what I built. Do you know what I mean? Or furthermore, we're building a rent roll, and we're building a rent roll quite quickly, right? Which is another asset. But having a franchise, are you going to be assured that you're going to get all those rentals, or they're going to go to the Ray White down the road, or Ray White Newcastle, or Ray White Lake Macquarie? Because it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? So just the control of having that. And then you've probably seen some videos and stuff we do. My business partner Ryan's pretty crazy, so he does some crazy stuff. But having the control of being able to present our business the way we want to present it was another really cool thing. So.
Yep. So back in the listing table, if you come up against someone that charges a lesser fee than what you do, how do you tackle that? How do you handle that when an owner throws that at you and says, well, we like you a lot, Reece, but we don't like you 0.5% or 1% more than this other guy or other girl who's presenting it at this money? What's your standard comeback on in that sort of situation?
Yeah, so standard situation, I always bring it back to pricing and what the house is worth, right? So if you're talking about, 0.2% on a $500,000 house, we're talking $1,000. We're not talking big money at all, you know what I mean? So if I can't prove to you that I'm worth more than $1,000 than the other agent, when I can show you that I've sold more homes in your area, I can show you that there's a website called Rate My Agent, which I use a lot, right? So Rate My Agent, let's say I'm doing a listing presentation in my core area. Now, because I've sold more homes in my area, you can also see the average selling price in the area as well, right? So I will know when I go to a listing presentation who I'm up against, or if I'm competing for this business, and I will know that if my average selling price is higher than my competitor's average selling price, right? So when I go and sit down with that vendor, and that vendor says to me, oh, look, Reece, you're $2,000 more expensive. Well, I just pull up this website and say, if I understand that, but my average selling price is also $25,000 higher than the average agent in this area. So what you might cost you for $2,000 really is going to save you $23,000. Do you know what I mean? And I can show that through my numbers and the stats.
Hard to argue with pure numbers. Do you have many in your area that are at a lower fee level than what you are?
Yeah, all the time.
Yep. So your average fee, we had a discussion yesterday, you said your average fee sat at about 2.2%. Where would that sit in the scale of kind of your competitors against you?
It's mid-range. Look, there's most agents will charge 2.2. It'll range between 1.6 and 2.5. If the property that I'm selling is, $400,000, $500,000, we'll definitely charge 2.5 plus.
Yep.
If the property's for $700,000, we'll charge 2.2.
Yep. And then what's sort of the high marker in terms of prices in your area? What would be, what's the most expensive sale that you've handled to this point in time?
$3.5 million.
Okay. Any difference in running your campaign on a $3.5 million property versus one that's $400,000 to $500,000?
We just do things a little bit differently. Like most of the time, there's probably not open homes and stuff like that because you just get your sticky beaks there. Although I'd love to do open homes there, most owners don't want to do open homes because you get to meet everyone. But just a little few extra things we do. Might do more high-end videos, that kind of stuff. We've done a bit of paper advertising. Not that I wanted to. It's just that the owner wanted to do that, and we offer those extra services for sure.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm assuming that Maitland or the Hunter Valley is no different to every other region around Australia and New Zealand. Your sellers generally want too much for their home when you first meet them. So how do you operate in that paradigm when a seller says, yeah, look, Reece, we really want it, but we want to get X, and you know that X is 10 to 15% above what the market's likely to deliver to you? What's your strategy to kind of alleviate that and get them to where they need to understand the market?
Yeah. I hate losing listings on price, righto? So you're probably not going to like this, Justin, but I'm not a massive auction agent. Auctions aren't massive in our area. I have done one in the last 240 sales, and it went successfully, but it was good. But I like to try and sell things pretty quick as well, but I have to wait 4 weeks. I like to get them out the door. But what I do for my owners is I always take the first week I go to market, I always take it as a preview. So I set it up at the start, because you will have agents go to our vendors and tell them that the house might be worth $800,000, and we all know it's only worth $750,000. I don't want to, put a dent in those owners' hopes, or I don't want to tell them it's only worth $750,000 and they go, well, Reece, you don't believe in us, we're going to go with this agent. So what I always do is I say, let's let the market decide. The best way to attract the highest price is to create as much competition for the property as possible. So I'll say to the owners, if you give me the opportunity to sell your property, over the next couple of weeks, we're not just going to go straight to market. What I want to do is I want to build a database for your place. So over the next 2 weeks, while we're getting things like photos, floor plan, 3D tours, ads written, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be speaking to buyers that have inquired on other properties already. And I'm going to be saying to these buyers, hey, I've got a new one coming on. This is what it's got to offer. Can I keep your name and number and give you a call when it's ready? Now, the more people I can get in our database, the more competition I'm going to be able to create for your home. And therefore, the better price I'm going to be able to get you when it goes to sale market. What's going to happen is once we've got the photos and everything done and you've approved it and you're happy and you're ready to go to market, we're going to launch the property. Now, I always launch my properties on Monday afternoon. They go on realestate.com, domain.com, local paper, social media, and it goes there for everyone to see, and it goes on as a preview, right? That's how it goes out in the marketplace. The very first thing I do is I bring everybody back in that database and I say, hey guys, great news. That house I was telling you about is now online. Go and check it out. The first inspection is going to be on Saturday at 11 o'clock. So we don't have inspections during the first week. It goes on the market on a Monday. We don't show it until a Saturday. Now, naturally, when a house first goes online, buyers start ringing us up. Usually they've got the shits with us because they've got no price on it, but they'll ring us up and they'll say, Reece, you've got a house over there. First question, how much is it? The standard reply is going to be, look, it's going to go towards the 800, but how high does it go? Depends on the amount of interest. The idea is we want to try and create a competition. We want to make sure we can get them there on Saturday. So I'll say, Reece, can we get there on Wednesday? And I'll say, look, you can't. First inspection's not going to be until Saturday at 11 o'clock. The idea being a new listing, we know serious buyers, they're always looking every couple of days. So buyers are ringing up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, wanting to get through the house, but we don't let them through until Saturday, because come Saturday, all those buyers from realestate.com, domain.com, local paper, social media, but more importantly, all the ones from the database, they're there together at the same time. Now, we've created competition for it. So 2 things are going to happen from that inspection. Number one, you're going to get offers on the place, because if someone is interested in the house, their hand is forced to make an offer because they've seen there's other people there, right? Well, the second thing is, say you don't get any offers. You've had 10 people come through your home. I'm going to ring those 10 people and say, hey guys, what did you think? Based on what? What else have you looked at? How much can you spend? And I'm going to give you a call as the owner and say, right, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, this is what everyone said about your place. So after that very first week on the market, you're either A, you're going to get it sold for a really, really good price, or B, you're going to be able to price it pretty well with the marketplace, because all your market feedback's coming in at 750, 760. Well, it's not now me, I'm not the bad guy anymore. It's the bloody market who's telling us this. I wish your house was worth the 800 mark, but unfortunately these 10 people are telling me it's only worth the 750 mark. And that's how I try and price it. So by the first week, you've either sold it, or by the second week, you should have a price to sell just outside that market feedback to ensure you can get the best price for your owner, but also that you move it within the first 4 weeks in the market, because we all know after 4 weeks, if you haven't moved it, it's a long slog from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great strategy, a really, really good strategy. I don't take it personally that you don't like auctions, Reece. It's not, I don't feel personally attacked or anything like that. So what I do believe is you put the right strategy in place in your marketplace of what suits, and by the sounds of you got that down to a fine art. What do you do in the instance of that situation, that exact situation where you don't have offers, the feedback's coming at the lower level, let's say in the early sevens, early to mid sevens, and the owners are still really headstrong and say, no, Reece, we told you it has to be at least 850 for us to move on. What's your next maneuver there? Do you change the price to a price that appeases them? Do you stay with no price? What would be your next pivot in that situation?
Yeah, there's a couple of different options I've got, right? So it depends on where I thought it was worth as well. So if I've got it wrong, I'm not afraid to go and sit with an owner, and I call it, this is the old gentleman system, hat in hand. You know, I go back with my hat in hand. Hey guys, I honestly thought your house was worth this amount, but based on what the feedback is, this is the reality of the situation. And I don't got too much pride there, because the worst thing you can do is just keep telling the owner what they want to hear, and then it doesn't, and the buyers are below you, and it just never comes together, right? You're better off going straight away and saying, look, I've stuffed up. This is the price I thought it was. This is your feedback. I don't want to see this keep down the road. I'd rather tackle this problem right now. But I guess what I do if I'm close, there's a number of options you can do, right? So you've got different pricing strategies. So we haven't got a price for the first week. After the first week, we know, well, this is where the market feedback is. I like to set the price, $20,000, $30,000 above the market feedback, so that we can stretch that price for the owner. Or if the offer's, $800,000 and the rest of it's $750,000, we know the owner should be taking the $800,000 and running. Or the flip side is we might do things like, right, let's get a price got on it. Let's go and open the market. Let's go $749,000 to $800,000. Because you've got to remember, if that owner wanted $800,000 and they've put $810,000 on it, anyone looking up to 800 hasn't had the opportunity to see that, right? So if I go and put $799 to $829 on it, everyone looking up to 800 now has the opportunity to see it, and you open it up to another market. And the reality is, if you can spend $799, you can probably spend $810 for the right place as well. So.
Yeah. And is that strategy that you put in place, is that a bit of a point of difference for you? Is there any of your competitors that have sort of copied it or do something similar, or is it pretty unique to the way you guys operate?
Well, I kind of designed it years ago, and everyone kind of does it, but they don't actually understand it. They just write preview online, and they don't really know why I do it and stuff. Like, we've got guys in our location. So the idea of a range, or putting a range on the internet, is to open it up by a price bracket, right? Because buyers search realestate.com by price category. So if I'm a buyer, I'm looking up to 800,000. I might go, East Maitland, I've got 800,000 to spend, right? But you'll have agents in our area do a price guide between 810 and 840, which is silly because they would have gone, 850. It just doesn't work like that, They're better off going 799 to 839, and all of a sudden, all those people searching up 8 get to see that property. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So you mentioned your team there earlier. So tell us about your team. Who's in it and what are their roles and responsibilities predominantly?
Yeah, so I'm really new to, I've been in real estate 20 years, but I've only been a business owner or working on Urban X the last 2 years kind of thing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to grow agents. I've had a couple of girls work with me for a long time. So I've had Alex, who's been my, creative person, and she's basically my right-hand girl, organizer. When I list a house, I usually pass it on to her. She organises everything, photos, floor plan, 3D tours, writes the ads, gets all that ready for me. And then once it's ready to go to market, and that Monday comes around and gets launched, it goes back to me. And then I start dealing with the owners again, I only do vendor management, some negotiations, listing appointments. My other girl is Taylor. Taylor's been with me for 10 years. She pretty much runs the whole buyer side of our team, So any inquiries that comes in, she'll handle with her team. She does inspections, does negotiations, and she runs all that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to do, I think it's really hard for young agents to get into the market in our area. And the reason is you've got a couple of dominant agents like myself and Nick Clark in our location. So when a young guy or a young girl wants to get into the industry, and they might get into a door, and the vendor says, right, we're going to get 3 agents out. And they get the new guy, me and Nick and I have sold 300 homes in the area, and you've sold 4. It's really hard to get your foot in the industry. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring young agents through. So I've got Justin, Dave, and Braden that work under me at the moment. And the idea is I'm giving them a patch of area, so an area that I would list in, and I'm putting them on the signboard, and I'm actively marketing them as the number 2 agent on the property. And even in some cases, the number 1 agent in the property, right? Open home signs, they've got all the open home signs in their areas. And I'm trying to grow their brand. So it looks like their numbers are going up, but basically the owners are the market's starting to trust them more. And then eventually I can hopefully step back a little bit, mate. That's the plan.
That's the plan. So how do you find these people? Like, recruitment and real estate can be challenging. Is it now part of that attraction business that they find you, or is there a way and means that you seek them out?
Yeah, so with Braden, I seek Braden out. Braden had been at Ray White there for a little while, And without being disrespectful to him, I didn't see him really going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So he was kind of just ticking over, but there was no real oomph or trajectory to his career. And I thought, well, man, he's a young kid. If he's got a bit of go about him, I can help him and he can help me. Dave is a hungry guy. He keeps ringing, and I love energy. So when I say I love energy, if someone is that committed to ringing me, it was like when I had to start out, I did 103 phone calls a day. Like, I can't get staff to do 103 phone calls a day today. It's just, you're almost in jail if you ask people to do that kind of stuff, right? But when you don't know any better and you think that's normal, then you just get it done. Do you know what I mean? So, and Dave showed that, and he showed that from the start. He had a go and a bit of a crack, and he kept ringing, and so he's actually kicked on. He's doing quite well. And then you've got Justin, and if I'm real honest with you, Justin was a real estate agent, but we hired his girlfriend, who's our photographer, and so she's our media photographer, and I met him at a Christmas party, mate, and from then on he's jumped on board as well. So he's doing well too. So, yeah.
Awesome. So how often does the team sort of collaborate and come together? Do you meet on a regular basis, or is it an informal thing, or like how do you communicate internally to make sure everyone's kind of doing their role?
Yeah, so I have a staff meeting every Tuesday morning. So every Mondays you won't get many appointments with us. So Monday I try and book out my day for just vendor meetings and all that kind of stuff, talk about what happened on the weekend. Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. is our sales meeting. So that's my team all together. We talk about who brought in what listings, what listings have got coming up, challenges. We talk about any current stock, all that kind of stuff. And then once a month, I have a progressions meeting with my team. So each team member has a meeting with me once a month, except for Taylor and Alex, who basically run their own lives. So yeah.
Can you talk about that progression meeting? What does that look like, and what are you trying to achieve with that?
Yeah, so my idea is I don't want these guys to be happy or content staying with me. So they earn a commission based off what I do, right? But I don't want them just content with that. And one of the challenges I probably had is these guys have come from agencies where they might have been earning, $40,000, $50,000 a year. That was what they earned as their base wage, right? And they weren't really earning commission. Now, what I did was I said, well, come work with me. I'm going to get you to manage my stock in that location, which means you'll do the open homes there. You'll meet the vendors there. You'll also talk to the vendors for me, and I'm going to give you 10%. Now, that means that most of them went straight from $40,000 to $100,000 straight away, right? But I don't want them content with that. I want them going, well, I don't want to earn $100,000. I want to earn $500,000 a year. So It's more to say you can't just be, because if they're not bringing extra money in themselves, I might as well manage it myself and keep the extra $50,000 myself. Do you know what I mean? So the idea is to build their brand, but help me manage my stock at the same time. So
brilliant. So you obviously have a lot on your plate. Your team does over 200 sales a year. You've got a large team that you run. You've got a family too. You've got 3 children, which we established yesterday, not 2, 3 children yesterday. Yep. You've got Riley, Piper, and Lily. How do you make it all work? How do you balance your time? It's such a buzzword in real estate these days. Everyone's searching for balance. A, what does balance mean to you? And B, how do you make it work?
And I'm really lucky. I've got a very, very supportive wife. So when I say I've got 3 kids, she probably does the harder job than I do. She looks after those kind of kids and my kind of kids, I should say. And I couldn't tell you who their school teachers are. You know what I mean? So, not that I'm a bad father, it's just that I wouldn't know who teaches what the kids. That's kind of her department. I'm always there for them and stuff, but she runs that department. And then as a team, I guess I provide by going to work and making sure this runs smoothly as well. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of credit has to go to my wife in that situation. But yeah, that's what I put it down to her.
Do you have like structured time off? Do you have a particular day that you spend, or how do you work with balancing your diary in that regard?
Honestly, I take a fair few holidays, right? So I've probably taken more and more holidays as I've become busier and busier and busier, believe it or not. So I still don't mind, like I play sport, we play on a Friday night. I don't really have a day off, I have Sundays off, but it's during the 6 days every week for me. I don't tend to go to my open homes. So what I mean by that is all my team works on open home every day, almost every Saturday. I zigzag to the open homes. I don't have a set open home myself. I'll go to pretty much 15 to 20 open homes, but I might spend 5 minutes at each open home. Do you know what I mean? As far as time off's concerned, like I'm going to Vegas in a month to watch the Conor McGregor fight, so I'll be over there for that. I have boys trips all the time. I have golf trips. I have family trips. We have 4 weeks off over Christmas every year. So, you know, the family doesn't mean I went to Disneyland last year. I'm going to Disney World next year. So all this happens, but I'm probably having more holidays the busier I've become. But I think that just goes down to the structures you've got in place and the team you've got around you. So again, you know, I might think my wife at home, but I've also got the 2 girls and my team that have been with me for such a long time in the industry here that I can trust them as well. So,
do you think Conor McGregor's going to win?
Mate, I seen a video of him out partying about 2 days ago with his wife. I'm thinking, I hope he's doing the whole same thing as that King Ryan, because Ryan Garcia, because I'm thinking he could be in trouble, but I'm going for him. So yeah.
Nice, good. You said you play sport on a Friday night. What do you play? Who do you play for?
I'm playing soccer, man, just on a Friday night. I'm terrible.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm feeling every bit of being 37 now.
What position do you play?
I play on the bench. Just come on when I can. No, I play up front. So yeah.
Being what you say, 6'10", mate. I imagine that the high cross into the box and the headers are probably your foray. Is that probably your signature call?
Yeah, well, I'm not a very good mover. I can't move very well. So yeah, every now and then if I can just put it up here, it's all right. So yeah.
Play to your strengths, mate. You always play to your strengths. A few sort of quick ones to sort of close on off. Firstly, you mentioned that stepping back was something you mentioned. You know, the idea eventually is to get these guys and girls, you know, to a really level of proficiency, which will allow you to sort of step back. Is that something that you're consciously working towards where you've got a timeline that you want it to happen, or is it something where when it happens, it'll happen and that'll be something you'll strive for?
I'll be very honest with you guys. So my plan is, I got it wrong from early on, right? So I always look at, I think everyone should be thinking about retirement age. From by the time you turn 30, you should be thinking about retirement, right? Because you want to enjoy life. You live once, and you don't want to get to 60 or 50 and 60 and then retire and you can't do anything because I'm already struggling to move. Like I said, I'm on the bench now playing football. But yeah. So when I started investing, I started buying property, and I own a number of properties and stuff like that. But I don't think that's the way that wasn't going to get me to a passive income to retire enough. So I started working out what's the best way to get to a passive income of what I wanted to be at. And that's when the real benefit of running my own business has come in, because if I can get this sales team up and running and I don't necessarily need to be here as much, and I've got these agents that are working for me that I've helped build their own brands and I've treated them well, and now I'm earning a split off them, and then I'm earning a split off our property management. For example, if I can get the property management to 800 property managements, we average about $30 a week for our property management. That's about $1.25 million a year. I earn a certain split of that. It might cost you $500,000 a year. You need 5 property managers. It might cost you $500,000 a year to run that. There's $750,000 passive income just there. So if I have half of that, that's a good portion of passive income. Plus I've got my sales business. Plus there's a guy that's involved in this network, Strudwick. He's running his own finance company. We're looking at doing that as well. And it's just another way of another passive stream of income coming in. And by doing that, you can earn a passive income of $750,000 to $1 million a year. And if I'm doing that by the time I'm 40, I can be sitting back, smoking cigars on the yacht, going to watch Conor McGregor fight when I want, So that's the plan.
Good plan. Last one to finish off with. What do you think the top 3 things are that make you successful?
The top 3 things are probably mindset, right? So I have an addictive personality, right? Or I'm a competitive personality. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it, right? Even if I don't like it. Like I just did a UTA ultra trail thing, 22Ks. I'm not a fit bloke, right? But the fact I said I was going to do it, I put it out in the universe, I told people I was going to do it, the embarrassment of not being able to complete that task would have been torture for me. So that's why I've done that. So being around the right people as well. I think your circle of influence is massive. So growing up in Maitland, the average income earner here might earn $65,000-$70,000 kind of thing, right? So, and most of those income earners are at the pub on a Friday at 5 o'clock, and they probably put half the money for the pokes, and they look for their next paycheck. Do you know what I mean? So, to be around guys like in this network, or Dan himself, and other business openers, or the strategies that opened up, it really opens your eyes, because until you see it done, similar to the 103 phone calls, you don't know it's possible. You know what I mean? And the third one is there's no substitute for hard work. It's as simple as that. So you'll find that results are correlated by how hard you work. Even in our office, if you looked at who does the most, I would work the most hours, I do the most. Who does the second most? Dave works the second most hours in my team. He does the second most amount of listings. And there's a definite correlation in whoever works the hardest. Even when both Nick Clark and I were at PRD, it wasn't until he was going to the next level that I started following him, and he was working harder than me, and he was doing more numbers, right? So it's just how hard you work is you make your own luck.
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate your insight. Is there anything that you'd like to leave everyone with? Any parting words of wisdom or inspiration to get them fired up and kicking some goals?
Nothing that's not real corny, mate. No. So I'd probably just say, has everyone seen the movie, what's that, is it Braveheart? Where the guy goes, every man dies, but not every man lives. You got to live still. So, yeah.
Very good, mate. It's not corny at all. I actually really like that. So, mate, thank you so much. That was tremendous, and I really appreciate your generosity with opening up around everything to everybody, and I'm sure everyone got plenty out of that. So, mate, really appreciate it. Thank you.
No dramas, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Have a good day. Enjoy. See you next time. Thank you.